Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Weekend Wrap-Up Show here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas, and on the other screen, Josh Blevins. Mr. Josh.
Coming in remote today.
Yeah, what's going on? What's got you plugged into your house there?
Let's look outside and see why we possibly might be working remote today. This is a live look from downtown Shelbyville. And it looks like it might have snowed.
Well,
I don't know if you've heard anything about it.
Yeah, I've took a little drive around in it. You can see the traffic is moving pretty decent there. It's not terribly slick, but the roads are starting to get covered with snow. And as the traffic flow continues, it'll pack down and probably get a little slicker as the day goes on.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So I decided to wimp out and stay in my office. So.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of talk about whether you're in your office or if you're sitting across the desk. So why don't we just dive in after we take a break from our sponsors? And we want to thank Dennis Young Insurance and Extreme Flooring here in Shelbyville for being our sponsors. Why don't we take a break, hear from them, and we'll come back and jump in.
Sounds good. Here we go.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
Ready to upgrade your space? At Extreme Flooring in Shelbyville, we've got you covered. From carpet and hardwood to luxury vinyl, tile, and waterproof flooring. We also handle kitchen backsplash and bath remodels. Our design and sales team will help you find the perfect fit with trusted brands like Dreamweaver, Shaw, Mohawk, Doll Tile, and Tile Bar. And their certified installers make sure everything looks just right. Stop by and see us at 225 Colorado Boulevard in Shelbyville or give us a call at 931-735-6700. Financing is available. Schedule your consultation today at extreme-flooring.com. Let's make your home amazing.
All righty, welcome back into the Weekend Wrap-Up. Josh, why don't you dive in and get started? I know you had some developments yesterday on the Uncle Nearest situation, and we're going to lead off with that. Why don't you tell us what's happening?
Yeah. There was actually a couple things happened there this week. There was another filing that was made by the Weavers asking again to quickly look at removing the receivership because they posted some numbers where they said that their sales have dropped precipitously since the receivership started. So the judge came back late Friday afternoon and has gone ahead and set up a hearing on February 9th at 10 o'clock at the Knoxville Federal Courthouse. And this will be the first time that everybody's together in the same room since the hearing that I went to in August of last year to kind of try to hash out some of these issues. There's been a lot of sniping back and forth and, claims of this and that. And he's just going to sit everybody down and kind of go through where they're at. Is the receivership still doing what it's supposed to be, which is trying to maintain enough value to get farm credit paid back for the money that they're owed? And does there need to be any changes? Another big thing he's going to look at is the receiver has now seen the books on the 7 additional companies that aren't in the receivership, including some like Shelbyville Grand and a couple other ones, some of the other LLCs, and it's going to decide if the receiver gets control of those companies or if he just stays in control of the bigger company, Uncle Nearest. So all that will go down on February 9th. There was an additional hearing held, I think it was about a week ago. It was in private regarding whether all these filings that are going back and forth the last few weeks are going to remain sealed and out of view of the public. We weren't able to attend that hearing. That was a private invitation-only Zoom hearing, and only the parties were in it. And at some point, there will be some kind of ruling on that as well. I'm kind of expecting, though, they're probably going to keep all that information private for the time being, but we'll know that at some point.
So that hearing is on February 9th, right?
Yeah, that hearing is on February 9th. Yeah, February 9th. It's in Knoxville. That one's a little bit more of a haul than Chattanooga was, so we probably won't be at that one. But I would expect this has been a fairly well-covered case in the media. There's been a lot of different media sources on it, so hopefully somebody will be in the room and will report on it. And if not, if nobody that we are able to find reports on it, there's still whatever rulings come as a result of that hearing will end up online, and we'll get them that way. So
yeah, it'll be filed pretty quick.
Yeah, I would expect something fairly quick after that hearing. So with that, as far as meetings we talked about last weekend, there were 2 big ones we were going into this week. At least on my calendar. Tuesday, we had the Bedford County Committee meetings in the historic downtown courthouse. And I was able to work together again with my friend Commissioner Eric Maddox, and we presented the senior property tax freeze and specifically asked that a joint study committee be created between the city and the county to look at that and study that for 90 days and bring it back to the Rules Committee with some kind of a report or possible recommendation. So that was agreed to by the Rules Committee. So we're going to have 2 city council members. Those will be appointed at a specially called meeting February 3rd at 5:30. The city council is actually going to meet to conduct some other business. We're going to appoint them at that point. There's 2 county commissioners. Those have been appointed. That's going to be Anita Epperson and Commissioner Eric Maddox. Both mayors are going to be on that committee. We've got the city mayor and the county mayor. And then we have Tanya and Rhonda are going to be on that. Our trustee and our property assessor, and we're all going to put our heads together. We're going to bring in somebody from the state, hopefully at the first meeting, to kind of present the program, how it works, how it's working in other counties across the state, and just try to get enough information. There's been a lot of talk, but there's also, I think, a lot of confusion on the program maybe, and we're going to try to clear some of that up and get all that information to the county commission.
Yeah, just on the street, I hear several people talking about this from time to time, and of course on social media. And there is a little bit of confusion because when you hear tax freeze, a lot of people think that's just going to stop the tax, but it's not. It's just going to freeze it at the rate that they apply for and get. It's going to be just no increases at that point.
Correct. That was even mentioned at the meeting. Yeah, there were several seniors that had gotten confused and thought that if this got passed, that suddenly their property taxes were going to go away. That's not what this does. This just freezes them at the current tax rate for the remainder of their life, as long as they continue to apply for this every year. It's not a one-time application. Every single year you have to fill out the paperwork. But as long as you continue to do that and continue to qualify, your property taxes stay frozen for the remainder of your life.
Right.
So.
One other confusion, Josh, that I've heard also is if you're now taking advantage of the state's program where you get aid or relief, which we do have in place right now, both can happen simultaneously. You don't quit one and start the other. They go hand in hand, so you can still get the aid and still implement a freeze. So there's no stopping one and starting the other. They both work. They can work simultaneously. If I'm correct, is that right?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, and actually, I had that discussion with our trustee the other day. She was concerned that we may look at replacing the relief with a freeze. And that's not even in the conversation. We're not getting rid of the tax relief program. That's actually the tax relief program is a state mandated program. The entire state of Tennessee has that tax relief. We've joined on at both the city and the county to match what the state does with that.
Right.
But 100% of the state has the tax relief program. In our case, in Bedford County, if you live in the county, you get, and you qualify. It's an income cap. It's in the $30-some thousand. You get $118 from the state as a check in the mail, as a rebate for your property tax. Bedford County matches that $118. You get $236 currently from the state in the county. If you live in the city of Shelbyville, in addition to those $218 amounts, you also get an additional $75 towards your city property tax, and then the city matches that $75. You get $150 from that, and all that would stay in place. Now, the issue with that tax relief program, it's based on the value and the rate that's on your house. So we're about to go into a reappraisal year. All those values are going to go up, which is going to lower the tax rate. We're currently at 232 in the county. That number is going to go down. So that $118 check is about to get smaller next year. Just the math is going to work out the way they pay towards the first. It's either $32,000 or $37,000 of your home's value. So that as the rate goes down, the values go up. That check gets lower every time there's a reappraisal, and it will get lower again unless the state were to make some changes. That 118 may go down to 110. It may go down below 100 depending on how much the tax rate varies.
Right.
So that's part of the reason to look at the freeze too. The freezes whatever your dollar amount is. If you paid $1,200 this year in property tax, which actually that would be fairly low. I think the average in the county, like a $250,000 home right now, is about $1,500 a year in property taxes. Yeah. Property taxes are, fairly significant. If you paid $1,500 this year, once the freeze gets into place, you qualify, you would pay $1,500 every year going forward,
right?
Unless you made an improvement to the house, added a sunroom, added a pool, whatever. But if you're living on a fixed income on Social Security, you're not putting a pool in the backyard normally.
Right. Yeah, so, that's true.
Those are not the people that are doing $20,000 home expansion.
Right. Kind of and there's some more confusion out there. I know our state legislature right now is trying to pass a law that would make it impossible for future legislatures or future Tennessee government to impose state property taxes. And we don't pay a state property tax right now. And I don't know that in my lifetime we ever have. But there is a loophole there that would allow the legislature to bring forth a state property tax where everybody would have to pay in addition to their local. So they're trying to get that fixed to where that can't happen in the future. And a lot of people think that that's going to eliminate our local taxes. It's not. I saw a post the other day where a gentleman said, boy, I hope they pass this so we'll never have to pay property taxes again. And that's not what it's about. So, and people get confused on this. So we got to kind of keep our eye on that and make sure people don't think that it's just all going to go away, because that's not happening.
Right. Yeah. That is not the direction that's going. Yeah. I've seen some of those headlines. If you don't word it correctly, you just say the legislature is looking to eliminate property tax. You got to put the word state property tax in there, which doesn't currently exist. So they're eliminating something that we don't have. So
right. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So moving on to the next topic, we at that same county committee meetings, there was discussion of an interim replacement for our current property assessor who will be retiring at the end of February. They had 3 potential candidates speak at the meeting, and they sent, this was the Rules and Legislative Committee, they sent up a recommendation to the full commission to appoint, I want to say her name is Paige, I hope I'm not getting that wrong, but whoever is the current deputy property assessor is who they're going to recommend that the commission appoint as the interim. That person will hold the seat from March until the new property assessor is chosen at the August election. So that was the decision that was made.
Okay.
That will have to be ratified by the commission. They cannot vote on it in February because she'll still be in the seat during the February meeting. So the county commission will actually vote on that replacement at the March county commission meeting.
Okay. So this is up in the 2026 election cycle, is it not? This
It is,
position?
yeah. This will be on the ballot at the August county election and there were two
Okay.
people that spoke at this meeting that both said that they are expecting to qualify and be on the ballot. So I would expect two people to be running against each other.
Okay. So
the August
at this
election.
point, they have not pulled their papers at this point, have they?
No, they're not able to, because this is kind of a special deal. They
Right.
have a narrow window of March 2nd through March 11th, I believe were the dates. They have to pull and get all their signatures back in that window of time. So they've got a pretty
Okay.
small window that they can do that. But both said they intended to. They both currently work in the office, have experience. So we'll hopefully maybe they would come on and speak with you at some point, do one of your interview shows, and people could get more of a
We'd
feel
love to
for them.
have
But
them.
if they don't, they did go ahead and both of them already spoke at this month's rules committee. So you can go back and watch that video on the county YouTube and hear from them in their own words already. So
Right.
next up, same meeting, they went to the public safety committee, and the sheriff was asked a question about why Bedford County is not currently on the 287G program. That's the program that's been in the news a lot lately. That's where local law enforcement collaborates with federal law enforcement, in this case, Immigration Customs Enforcement, on immigration issues. And recently, within the last month, there were some articles on the local Fox affiliate that had maps showing the counties that were on that program. And we were kind of a glaring hole in the middle,
Yeah.
because the ones around us were on and we were not. So if you go back again and were to watch the meeting, you'd hear the sheriff gave a really good explanation. We are actually zoned, which makes no sense, but we're zoned for the Chattanooga office of ICE. So they have to come all the way from Chattanooga to pick people up at our jail, rather than from Nashville, where they have people that work there in Nashville, but we're zoned for Chattanooga. So they have to drive all the way from Chattanooga. We have been, and this goes way back to any of the recent ICE drama, we've been cooperating with them for several years now, where anybody that comes into the Bedford County Jail that they cannot verify that they were born in the United States, they submit their information to ICE every single time. So if you go into the county jail and don't have a U.S. birth certificate of some kind or some kind of U.S. Social Security number, they send your information to ICE. They review the information and make the decision on if they want to send people to Bedford County to pick them up. Since, again, they're coming all the way from Chattanooga, in the past, and I got some of this information from some conversations after the meeting, in the past, they've been picking up a fairly small percentage, like maybe 10%, really small, because it's kind of a hassle for them. They only have 48 hours to get it done. There's a 48-hour hold period. Recently, because of what's going on at the federal level, they have significantly increased the number of people that they're deporting out of Bedford County. They're up more in the 90% retrieval rate at this point. And the reason we had not previously signed on to this specific program, 287G, some of the agreements they had sent to us to have signed put a lot of burden on the local taxpayer and the local system. Things like requiring us to hold people in custody at our cost. There were some training issues where they wanted us to send two people across the state. They would provide free training, but we had to transport our people there. We had to have them housed there for several days, food, meals, and whatnot. So it was going to cost us money, and they weren't looking to reimburse us. They have since changed their tune. They've sent us what the sheriff mentioned was a better looking deal that we're more amenable to. It's already been run by the county attorney. He's kind of blessed it as well. So it's actually back in the federal government's hands for them to do the final whatever on it. So we're close to actually signing this agreement, is the long story short. So he expected we would have already, but the people that were assigned to our area recently got reassigned due to some of the things happening out of state. So we're in a holding pattern, but we're willing to sign at this point once everything's back to a normal flow. So
very good. So that kind of
Yeah.
clears that up for anybody that has questions.
Yeah, I'd seen a lot of questions on Facebook about that. Why are we not in with the 287G? So it sounds like we will be within the next few months if everything goes the way it was mentioned at the meeting. So
All right, that's a good update.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last thing that was on their agenda, third meeting they had was the courthouse and property, and at that one, our county planning director, Mr. Chris White, he spoke on a couple issues. One was the rock quarry / pond thing that had been kind of a hot button for a few weeks there. It kind of died down recently. But he's been in talks with TDEC, he said, within the last week or two, and they have not officially given permits to these people that are doing the rock quarrying / pond building / whatever you want to call it. But it is his feeling from those conversations that TDEC is going to approve both of those facilities. And from how he spoke at the meeting, it sounds like the county is not going to contest that. They feel like these fit under the Farm Use Act, and they have no intention of going forward with any kind of legal action against these. So unless the people that have filed the complaints hire lawyers on their own, it seems like this is a done deal and these are going to continue. So I think it's going to be contingent on the neighbors if they want to put their heads together and file something legal, hire a lawyer or whatnot. But the county has decided they're going to stay hands off. And the state has decided to actually give permits to these. So the state is also going to be hands off.
So it's probably just a matter of maybe a few weeks or less. Maybe this will be put to rest, hopefully, the way it sounds.
Well, put to rest as far as they'll have permits, but now where the neighbors are not going to get any happier than they have been. So, yeah, it's going to be a matter of if the neighbors really want to, push this anymore or not. So, yeah. And then he mentioned a couple of developments, which I think we had talked about both of these just briefly before. Neither of these have a full application, but they've sent him some concept drawings. There is a developer looking to build a 500-acre, what they're going to call an agri-hood. So I don't exactly know what that means, but basically he said it is going to be multi-million-dollar homes, 2 to 6 acre lots, and this would be on the Bedford-Rutherford County line. That 500 acres actually would be split, between the two counties. And this is not the county line on 231 that you would think of headed towards Murfreesboro. This is the 41A headed towards Eagleville direction that they're looking at doing this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it would have commercial right on the front on 41A, and then it would have these homes in behind. There's no zoning issue. They could go ahead and start building the homes tomorrow. This is already, anything above an acre is okay already in the county. So this would be fine with that. The question is the commercial on the front. Do they want to do a rezoning of that and put commercial there, or do they want to just call this whole thing a PUD and just zone it all into one neighborhood? So that's going to be the discussion there. The second project, which is one that's less exciting for those that aren't looking for some of the more high density neighborhoods, is there continues to be a developer looking to do a subdivision on Shaw Road. It's very close to Old Nashville Dirt Road. If you know where the pond is and the house that burnt down, it's that piece of property. They also have not submitted an official application, but they are in the process of looking at moving forward. And he does have some documents in his office. He said the county commissioners could review if they wanted to on that one. So
back to the other, the agri-hood or whatever whatever we're going to refer
whatever
to
that is.
Yeah, you mentioned the word PUD, and immediately people's ears perk up and go, "Oh no, no PUD." Well, just to refresh what you said, 2 to 6 acre lots is within what we already allow in Bedford County, so it's not high density.
Okay? Right. Yeah. People hear the word PUD and they think, a neighborhood of a bunch of houses crammed together. In this case, you would use the PUD to allow commercial and residential to live in the same neighborhood. Would be the reason for doing this.
It's not about high density.
No, it's not about putting a bunch of homes. It's not about a bunch of, people are going to say, oh, it's about a big step systems and stuff. They didn't mention the wastewater issue, but these being 2 to 6 acre lots, you would guess these are probably all individual septic systems. I've not seen the plans, but just, because of the size of the lots, you would expect that. So I don't,
in my opinion, Josh, this is my opinion. but this is the type of development we need in the county versus
Right.
townhomes piled up. Okay, this somewhat protects our identity and preserves our farmland by developments like this versus half acre lots or third acre lots or whatever. So this is probably
Yeah.
going to be a good thing.
Yeah, that's the expectation. So we'll see. They've not even put in an official application. We'll see after they put in the application. But yeah, it's one thing to show a concept. It's the final product that we want to look at. So hopefully that'll be coming down the pike though. So, and that was the big county meeting this week. And then we have one other meeting that I actually was a part of, and that was the City Planning Commission met Thursday evening. It went rather long. I should have looked at the video. I honestly don't remember the length. It seemed like it dragged on forever. I want to say probably maybe an hour and a half, but I don't know for sure. We had a number of large issues that required some discussion at best. We started off, the first big item was what's going to be called Victory Park. This will be a development of 150 townhomes behind Victory Baptist. It doesn't even fit with our future land use map, but it's already zoned as R4, so they can legally build townhomes back there. It's a done deal. So it's just a matter of what that development looks like in the end. The problem they had coming into this meeting was they were supposed to do, for something this big, that's going to be a traffic impact. That's going to feed out onto North Main. That's right there close to Walmart. So they have to do a traffic study in conjunction with TDOT. You got to decide, do you need a traffic signal there? Do you need to add additional turning lanes? What are you going to do to mitigate 150 families, which is at least 300, 400 cars coming and going every day. So they've got to get their traffic study done. We told them we're not going to make a decision without a traffic study. So we gave them 90 days to get that done. They could come back as early as next month if they're ready, but they weren't ready at this meeting, so we deferred them.
Okay, let's also mention that Cartwright School is close by there as well.
Not too far. The other direction. Yeah, just north of there is Cartwright. So we did approve a new / old gas station. This is 1006 East Depot Street. I think back in the 90s, they said maybe it was a gas station / convenience store. It had been a number of businesses since then, and somebody has bought it, and they're going to turn it back into a gas station. So there will be a gas station there on East Depot Street. Right. West Jackson Street. This was a fairly large piece of property right next to Tyson the Chicken People. Somebody bought it, and it has actually sat there since they showed us, I want to say the original plat was done in 1949.
Wow.
It has sat there empty, zoned for industrial. Nobody's ever used it for industrial. It's just sat there as an empty parcel. It did have one old house sitting just to one corner of it. Backs up to the river. It's all in the floodplain. A significant part of it's in the floodway, which you're not even allowed to legally do anything in the floodway as far as building. And they were asking to rezone that to put in duplexes, a number of duplexes, I believe either 8 or 9 duplexes, which would have been, 16, 18 families. Right. Tyson actually sent a representative from the company and spoke against this rezoning. They had concerns about it. There was one neighbor that had some concerns about it. We looked at it overall. Between several of the different concerns that were raised, we decided to send it up to the city council with an unfavorable recommendation. So the council will discuss this at their February meeting cycle. But there were just some issues that we felt weren't good at this spot.
The two words, floodway and floodplain, are like a dead giveaway on what could possibly go wrong,
Well, there's that. Yeah, that can be mitigated. In this particular one, they're not looking to build anywhere near the river. They've got so much property. Right. What they're actually planning to do is dig up a bunch of the dirt from the back of the property closer to the river and use it to build up the stuff by the street to get all that at the front by the road up out of the floodplain. So that would be the goal eventually.
Yeah, so that's build the land and then build something on top of the build of the land. Okay.
It is. I know that.
It's not an ideal situation. It's just.
It brings Coney Island Road to mind. I'm not going to lie, it does.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it does.
yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So we'll see where that goes. But currently, it's not looking promising for that rezoning at the moment. There was another thing that was actually added to our agenda very close to meeting time, which was we were supposed to possibly vote on. We ended up not voting on, but a discussion of billboards coming into town. We had somebody that wanted to put a new billboard up directly across the street from one that had just been built, I don't know, within the last 6 months, I believe. I don't know about, I've not heard a lot from the public about billboards, honestly, but for me personally, driving into town, it seems like we're getting a lot of billboards on North Main Street and Madison Street. Maybe even an overabundance of billboards, I would go so far as to say, especially these new digital flashing billboards. Have you seen those, David?
Oh, yeah. Some of them will put your eyes out.
Yeah. I mean, they're bright
They'll
at
blind
night.
you while you're trying to drive at night,
Yeah. So I spoke on it actually at the meeting. I just didn't feel comfortable this quickly making a change. The change that was offered to us would actually have allowed more than we currently have. It would loosen our standards. And I felt like maybe we need to look at some other cities around the area and see what they're doing. We may need to raise our standards rather than lower our standards. That's a crazy concept, raising the standards. But
that's my motto for the year. That's it. Higher standards and straight answers, Josh. That's what we need.
I know. So I thought higher standards. We actually pushed it back on the planning department, I guess, on staff to go out, find us some sign ordinances from other cities around the area, cities that look nice, nice looking cities, Franklin, Brentwood, something like that. And let's see what they're doing and see if maybe we can't raise our standards instead of lower them. So that's where we ended on that. No vote was taken other than to push it back to planning department and make them do some more work on it. So then the big one, this is one we've talked about for several weeks, maybe even months. This was the first public presentation by Duxon Electerra asking to expand their facility by adding an 8-acre concrete parking lot in the back and parking up to 222 ISO, not sure how you pronounce it, tanks in the back, which would have a capacity of, we never got a solid number, but the numbers we were given, most of them said over 1 million gallons of electrolyte basically parked in the backyard inside a chain link fence.
Yeah. Okay.
I had some concerns.
Hey, Josh, this electrolyte we're talking about is not used for Gatorade either.
No, this is lithium-ion battery electrolyte. This is used in EV car batteries. My concerns, which I voiced, both of the big ones I had at the meeting, were the facility itself has a significant high cost even system of 1, fire suppression, and then 2, secondary containment. Fire suppression, that's obvious why you have fire suppression. This is a flammable chemical. If it's inside the building, there's some kind of crazy nitrogen thing they pump in, so there's not oxygen where a lot of it's flowing, so you can't even have a fire. The part of the facility where they load this into these tanks has some deal where the doors slam down and foam comes in and all this stuff if there's a fire inside. There was none of that with this exterior storage. And then the other similar piece though, is secondary containment. The rest of the facility has 110% of whatever the total volume is of the rest of it. They have some kind of a secondary containment where if there's a chemical spill, it goes into a secondary area and doesn't get into the ground and groundwater seep out into the environment. And this new parking area that they were proposing had none of that. I specifically asked if there was any kind of a spill, a tank failed, a valve fell off, somebody broke in and accidentally opened a valve on purpose. Where would it go? And the answer was it would run off the edge of the concrete and into the detention pond on the end of the concrete. Well, that's not secondary containment. That's getting into your ground and eventually your groundwater. So we Similar to what we did with the townhome development, we gave them up to 90 days to get us a little more information from the state. This is way out of our pay grade, mine personally for sure. And I think the majority of the city staff, we don't deal with chemicals on a daily basis. Even our fire marshal and that, we don't, we're dealing with residential construction, a little bit of commercial. We're not dealing with anything on this scale. So we asked them to get something from the state. I want the state to say, hey, this is not a danger, or this is a danger that's not that high. We feel comfortable with it. I would like something in writing, or even verbally at least, from somebody at the state. I personally, and also our city fire marshal, tried to reach out to the state fire marshal's office. I spoke to our regional director, and he gave me some direct phone numbers for some people that would have answers. None of those people have returned my phone calls yet. In addition, I know and I've got to have more conversation with him, but our local fire marshal tried to reach out to the state, and I'm told he has not gotten some answers yet. Yeah. So we just want to make sure, again, above my pay grade, probably nothing against our local fire marshal, but probably above his pay grade, something of this scale. Like to hear from the state who has dealt with this in the past, and make sure. I don't want to put local people at risk just because of our ignorance of this particular situation. I'd like to have all the facts in place before we go forward with this. And that was the ask at the meeting. So,
all right. I've been told that I'm too negative on this particular topic before, so I'm going to try to find something. I'm going to try to find something positive here. How many jobs will be associated with this add-on?
With no mention of the jobs yet. So I know they still have a 2-year time window to get to 101 as far as their initial deal with the state, some of the money that they got from the state, but there's been no talk of that as of this point.
Is there a possibility
of more jobs? I mean, if they start production, I would expect there is. I'll just tell you, we're sitting from where I'm sitting and, being a little bit more on the inside now. I don't expect that this is going to not happen. I expect the expansion is going to happen. I just want to make sure we've got all the right paperwork and sign-offs, and I don't think there's anything that's going to stop this from expanding. I don't see this. I don't feel like the state is going to come in and say, "Oh no, this is a bad idea." They haven't at any point in the process.
It was the governor's idea originally, or somebody around the governor that pushed this on us anyway. That's been pushing for the EV business, and there's been a lot of subsidies given out. So they're not going to ever admit, hey, this was a bad move. They're going to move forward with it and double down, and hopefully down the road we will pick up some jobs off this. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the long-term goal. I just want to make sure we've done our due diligence. I don't want to be turning on my TV on Channel 5 one morning and see the helicopter up there and a big cloud of smoke and say, crap, that's my town. And we didn't do our part to try to at least make sure that we mitigated as much as we could and knew what was coming in here. So that's all we can do. I do expect this will get approved at some point, probably within that 90-day time period. But hopefully we'll have something in writing from the state that says, hey, we feel like this is safe. We feel like there's no safety issue, or it's so minimal that we think it's okay. But I want somebody that's intelligent and knows more about this than I do to actually look at it. Somebody that's in this field and tell us that. So, and that's kind of all we can do. So a couple other items that we did, actually neither one of these we voted on, one we didn't, but Richdale Lane, we had turned down a rezoning of a piece of property there to R3. They came in with a concept plan. They are going to continue to develop it anyways. It's already R2 property, so there will be, at some point in the not too distant future, 132 new single-family homes going at the end of Richdale Lane. So if you know where that is very close to the bypass off Fairfield Pike. Also very close to Cartwright, I believe, kind of across the street there. So that will go forward. There eventually, long term, they will have a new connection to the north, their own connection to the bypass. That's in discussions with TDOT. I believe there's at least an 18-month period of, I heard just an estimate of a time frame it's going to take them to get all that worked out with TDOT before they could even get approval on that. but there will be a fairly large new neighborhood happening there. So it's already a neighborhood. It's just going to expand further down.
Right.
So
Okay. So
and then,
132 homes.
Yeah.
You add, multiply that by 2 cars, 2 automobiles per home. And on average, I would say, do the
Correct.
math. That's 264 vehicles added to the traffic flow in and out on a daily basis there.
on Fairfield Pike initially, eventually to have a second option to go up to the bypass from there. And probably if once this is built, just looking at it on a map, most of these people are not going to drive back to Fairfield Pike once they have the option of just pulling straight on the bypass.
So that
they'll
changes
drive
the
up to the
complexion.
bypass.
That changes the definition of the bypass, in my opinion. You're starting to put residential entry and exit. It changes what a bypass is.
We're eventually going to have more accesses there. Yeah. And in addition to these 132 homes, part of that access point is there is 12 or 13 acres that got zoned commercial there. So there'll be some commercial businesses using that exact same access point that these 132 homes will. So
we built the bypass too. Hey, Josh, we built the bypass too close to town. That's what we did. All right.
Well, that's the direction it's going. And then the last thing that we actually did vote on and approve, Cedar Glade PUD, which I don't know, honestly, until I got into planning in the city, I didn't even know it existed. If you know where Walmart is, if you're looking at Walmart from North Main there, to the left of Walmart, there's what look like a couple business entrances. Those aren't business entrances. They take you back into a little neighborhood that already has an apartment complex back there. And there was on the books some townhomes, and there still are some townhomes being built back there. But a chunk of what was going to be townhomes, they have changed that over, and they now want to build some commercial businesses back there. So there'll be some type of businesses going back there in the future. This is kind of behind. It's north of Walmart and kind of in behind, is it Feldhouse Funeral Home? I think that's there. So It's kind of in that area. So,
okay. Yeah.
And with that was our city meeting. We talked about the county meeting. Let's peek outside real quick and see if the snow has stopped. It looks like it's still snowing, David. I see a
flake or two there. Traffic's still moving.
Traffic is still moving. Yeah, it looks like traffic's still moving okay. So, I would recommend tuning in to Mr. Elijah Kirby at some point. I bet he will have updates all day long and all weekend long, and he'll be live streaming and he'll be all over that. He is our weather guy. So,
also he will be listing closings, and also on our website, shelbyvillenow.com, there will be listings of churches and any school closings, which we already have, of course. They will be on the very home page there in a scrolling. So if you need to check real quick, I'll try to keep that up to date over the weekend.
Okay. And also you recently, I think it was this week, you have started having conversations with candidates for county office.
Yes. And we've got several lined up. There's one that's posted now. There will be another posted later today. And we've got several scheduled for next week. So we're going to get, it sounds like a lot of the candidates are going to come and sit down and we'll hear from them. And that's the goal, to educate the voter, let people know who they're voting for.
Right. And those lists keep getting longer. I think I saw one. Yeah. I think the election commission posted one on Friday. There's some county commission seats that I feel like we could not of these people haven't qualified yet, but most of them I think will. We could have 7 or 8 people vying for 2 spots in a couple of these districts. So
it's good to see the participation. And people want to serve. That's a good sign. Just have to hear from each one of them, see where they lie, where their thoughts and their ambitions lie, and what their purpose is, what they see happening in Bedford County. It's going to be interesting to talk to these folks.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a couple things coming in the upcoming week, but maybe before we talk about those, you want to hear from our sponsors one last time, and then we'll come back and talk about what's happening next week, assuming that we don't get iced in all week. So.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
Ready to upgrade your space? At Extreme Flooring in Shelbyville, we've got you covered. From carpet and hardwood to luxury vinyl, tile, and waterproof flooring. We also handle kitchen backsplash and bath remodels. Our design and sales team will help you find the perfect fit with trusted brands like Dreamweaver, Shaw, Mohawk, Dull Tile, and Tile Bar. And their certified installers make sure everything looks just right. Stop by and see us at 225 Colorado Boulevard in Shelbyville or give us a call at 931-735-6700. Financing is available. Schedule your consultation today at extreme-flooring.com. Let's make your home amazing.
We're back.
We're back. Welcome back in here for the weekend wrap-up show, the wrap-up of the wrap-up show. Josh, tell us what's happening this upcoming week.
Upcoming week, everything on this list will be weather dependent. We don't necessarily know where it's going. It kind of looks like we're not going to get iced in all week, but I will not make that call. We'll let Elijah Kirby, who is an expert, tell us about that later on the weekend. But currently on the schedule that has not been canceled yet, Tuesday afternoon, early evening, whatever you want to call it, is the county finance meeting, 4:15. This is where they go over the monthly issues going on in the county as far as money. Tuesday, 5 o'clock, Shelbyville Power, Water, and Sewer Board will meet and talk about power, water, and sewer. And hopefully there have not been any major power outages between then and now, so they won't have anything to talk about. So if there have, we'll definitely discuss them. Yeah, we're hoping. Wednesday at noon, this is a big one for me. This happens once a year. The city gets together and discusses what I think many of us believe is probably the biggest issue facing the city and the county, which is the growth. This is the annual city growth meeting. This will be the city council will be there. The city planning commission will be there. Also, the members of the Power, Water, and Sewer Board will be there. And we'll meet for 2 hours over lunch and just kind of discuss infrastructure, where we're going, goals for the next year, next multiple years, what we can do to manage the growth as it comes in intelligently so it doesn't just kind of overtake us, run over us like a freight train or something.
Like it sort of is right now.
Like it, you could argue maybe possibly is or is not. So depending on your view. Then Friday, one last thing, and I'm mentioning this because they happen to be a sponsor. Friday at 10 a.m., Extreme Flooring is going to have their official ribbon cutting. This is their new building down in behind Dunkin' Donuts off North Main Street there. So they will be having a ribbon cutting 10 o'clock Friday morning. Surely by Friday, the roads will be great. So I don't think that one's weather dependent. But yeah, they'll be having a ribbon cutting. I'll be there. The chamber will be there. We'll have a good old time. I bet they'll have finger foods or something. I don't know. Usually
you're already thinking about the food already.
All these events seem to have food. So this is not doing good for my
Now we know. Now we know. Josh is at the ribbon cutting for the food. Okay.
I'm there for the food.
We thank our sponsor. We're proud of them. Glad to see them get this new facility. I know they're excited about it, and they're excited to have this grand opening. So we'll be looking forward to that. And Josh, it looks like that's all we've got for today.
It is. I just wanted to say thanks for all the people that tune in every week. I was talking to somebody after breakfast. I think it was Friday. He said, "Man, you guys' following number just keeps going up." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know why people like us, but every now and again people tune in and they watch what we're doing, and we appreciate all the feedback, all the comments, the positive comments, the negative comments, any of the comments. Just comment away." So yeah, we're happy to hear from you. And if you've got a news tip or anything, the scroll along the bottom always tells you how you can contact us. And yeah, we're glad to hear from everybody. And I think we'll be back here same time, same channel, and all that next week.
Yeah, everybody needs to keep their eyes on the weather for today, especially, and tonight. We're hoping that we will get some warm air come in and melt some of this stuff away, and we won't have that big ice storm that we've been talking about all week. But if you do get out in the meantime, be careful, take it easy, don't hit the brakes too hard. all that good stuff. And
Yeah.
just keep your eyes tuned to the weather and keep on top of what's happening before you get out. And hopefully everybody will stay safe. And we thank you for watching, and we see you guys next week, same time, same place.